So we have some more store exclusive listings we're going to be talking about today. We've been covering them over the past couple of segments, and I wanted to separate these to make them all nice and tidy, that we could all break them down proper. As of this recording, it is December 26th. It is the post-holiday season for the Americans leading into the new year. And if you're a dirty Canadian like me, today is Boxing Day. People don't know what that is. Picture Black Friday if it was, I guess, a lot more polite. Sorry about that. So let's jump into that. We have, today we got some Target exclusives that are going to be available in 2022 for the Transformers Legacy line, and then we have some Walgreens exclusives. We still have a lot more we have to cover after this, but let's tackle these right now. First one we got here is a Buzzworthy Bumblebee Legacy Deluxe Silverstreak. I just want to mention for a second, all of these are part of Buzzworthy Legacy. It looks like the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line is going to have a subsection that's going to be Legacy related to the Transformers Legacy line, much like how we saw we have Buzzworthy Bumblebee Studio Series stuff. So it seems like it's kind of like a catch-all kind of brand now going into 2022 with Buzzworthy, where it's going to have within its subline is sublines of sublines. Pretty complicated. So here is this Generation Selects Silverstreak that we were talking about over the past couple of months. It's that Bluestreak that we were talking about that we thought was a Generation Selects or some kind of store exclusive. And now it looks like we finally have an idea of where it's going to be and what it's going to be appearing in. I did a insane deep dive over the past couple of months about that release and what that character is. So if you want to learn more about that, go into the archive of the Transformers Slag podcast, look for Silverstreak, Bluestreak, and I have the whole history lesson of what that is, its deep origins, its Datsun relations, and the color blue, and why is that related to that, later Nissan brand, and everything that's going on there. All I just want to say is I love that color scheme. I think it looks even better than the original silver on Bluestreak, so I'm down for that. I think it's really cool. And the fact that it's going to be part of the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line that'll be pretty plentiful at Target gives everyone an opportunity to get that really obscure and interesting color scheme of that classic 1984 Generation 1 character. Next up, we have Buzzworthy Legacy Multipack. Now, the multi-packs that we've gotten thus far from the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line, one of the more infamous ones was the recent one we got that had the Nemesis Optimus Primal, the Fangry, the Bumblebee Extra release using the Cliffjumper mold, and the Cheetah Bra Black Arachnia. And that was a fantastic little set. A lot of people really liked it. It had a little bit of everything for everyone. 3 deluxes and a Voyager in that. This one, while it's not confirmed, we're going to take a guess with all of these things listed here, but it looks like it's going to be 4 deluxes in this one. So hopefully the MSRP will be slightly cheaper on this multi-pack from the previous one. But what's in it is very fascinating too. First up, a deluxe class, assumably, Gold Bug. Now, this Gold Bug, I'm hoping, is they're going to take that Netflix Bumblebee mold, that deluxe class that a lot of people have not gotten, and they're going to take that mold, give it the brand new head sculpt that we got from the Shattered Glass Gold Bug, slap it on there, give it a darker kind of goldish alt mode color scheme, and give us our true, finally, Generation 1 updated Gold Bug toy. And I would think that would be fantastic. I think it would look incredible. I think a lot of people would be down for that, and it would give people who didn't get that Bumblebee from the Netflix line a second chance to get some way to handle that mold. Obviously, Volkswagen is going to have to be involved with some kind of logo on it to just kind of give it that, hey, it's a licensed car. But I think that would be great. I think to get that Cliff Jumper mold, that sculpt again, and call it Gold Bug would not be cool for fans. I think we got to give them the Volkswagen Beetle. It's called Gold Bug. Come on, you got to give it the Volkswagen Beetle, the Herbie. It's got to be it. But that would be pretty cool to see. After that, we have what I'm going to assume is a Deluxe Class Ransack. Now, this is a great one because not too long ago on the Transformer Slag podcast Patreon listener question, someone asked, is it possible that we'll ever see the Deluxe Insecticons again, aka the 1985 larger Insecticons outside of the original trio that we're normally used to? And I was like, hey, look, some of those characters, their trademarks are still available. Ransack was being one of them. Was used in movie toys and Revenge of the Fallen and stuff. So I could totally see Ransack being a thing and being one of them. Not to mention, Ransack is also one of those designs that if you look at what exists of the original trio of Insecticons, some retooling could be easily done and silhouettes could be done. So this Ransack, which was the Locust that was black and yellow in the original 1985 Deluxe Insecticons from G1, you could easily take the brand new Transformers Legacy Deluxe Class Kickback that we have coming out soon, retool that, give it the black and yellow, and you got your Deluxe Class Ransack. And that'll be fantastic because finally one of those Deluxe Insecticons will be able to be given the proper treatment and be updated into the modern era of Transformer designs. I always said the hardest one's probably going to be Venom. They'll probably have to change his name to Venom or something like they've tried to do in the past. But Ransack here, he's going to get out clean as a whistle, get a brand new toy. It's going to look pretty good, and he's going to have his name and trademark kept intact. I'm looking forward to that one. That to me, that of this set, that's going to be one of the cherries that people are going to really want for their displays because that's a character that has had nothing forever. And when I mean forever, I'm talking decades. So that's a big deal, that one. Next up, we have Toy Scorponok. It's pretty clear what this one's going to probably be. It's probably going to be a repaint of the Kingdom Scorponok. Now, the Kingdom Scorponok that we've already gotten thus far is show accurate, using those lighter muted purples and that show accurate head sculpt, matching the mainframe animation model of the Beast Wars cartoon. So a toy accurate Scorponok would have those more darker, blacker charcoal colors, the red accents, and that more mutant head kind of style that was more organic and less like the more, I guess we'll call it, visory kind of head that the show accurate version had. So that's going to be a pretty clear cut one. It's going to have, again, darker color scheme, brand new head sculpt, pretty cool. There was rumors that we're supposed to get a Sandstorm version from the Scorponok. Chances are whatever the mold is going to do for this toy Scorponok will probably then be used for that Sandstorm one for a Generation Selects or something later on. Again, that was just a rumor, but it starts to all kind of line up when everything is put together. Pretty cool, but probably the least exciting of the bunch in a lot of ways because we already got our toy Scorponok. It was the original toy Scorponok. Now we wanted our show accurate one. We got that. We good. And the last one of this set, and probably the deepest cut of them all, is Paralyzer. Paralyzer was, back in the day, the Botcon 2015 Army Builder set of the Warrior Army from the Diaclone bad guys from the Warrior Empire. And I worked on that set, and I worked of that 4-pack, which was Parasite, Paralyzer, Storm Rider, and Mud Fighter. I worked on the Storm Rider, which then was repurposed into King Warrior. There's a whole deeper story with that, which maybe I'll get into in a moment. But point is that was an Army Builder set back in 2015. It used the Generation Thrilling 30 2014 Waspinator mold. So it's pretty clear what this Paralyzer is going to be because of what recent molds we've just gotten. We're going to probably take that Kingdom Deluxe Class Waspinator, give him that Paralyzer white color scheme that original Botcon 2015 version had, and that is that. And, there's been rumors, and we've seen images online that there's a brand new head sculpt that's kicking around for a Buzzsaw. I think it's going to use the original Waspinator head sculpt, not the Buzzsaw head sculpt, just to stay true to the Botcon color scheme and the Botcon design, which used the Waspinator head sculpt anyways. So that's how I think that's going to go about. And Paralyzer has kind of a funny history because at one time, Botcon was going to probably take all those Army Builders, swap some of the colors together, give it a brand new head sculpt, and it was going to be Bug Bite 2. So your Paralyzer, if you want, could also be Bug Bite 2, which was another repurposed character by Jesse from the Botcon crew. My character, Storm Rider, was going to be, again, King Warderer. That was repurposed for that. It was going to have brand new head sculpts. None of that ever came to be, but it was something that was on the cutting room floor. So that's the deep cut of that 4-pack. Again, just like in the past with that other 4-pack with the Optimus and the Bumblebee and the Black Arachne and Fangry, there's always going to be that one figure that everyone wants, and then you could kind of like piece it out and sell to other friends. In this one here, I don't know, man, that both, if the Gold Bug is what I think it is and the Ransack is what I think it is, both of those are going to be the must-haves. And the toy Scorponok and the Paralyzer is probably going to be the weaker links, and only like Botcon completists or Beast Wars completists might want those. So that's going to be an interesting 4-pack, but considering it's probably 4 deluxes instead of 3 deluxes and a Voyager, it's probably also going to be cheaper too. Hopefully. The next listing here we already kind of covered. It was the Buzzworthy Legacy Deluxe Class Toy Deco Pterosaur. I covered that just yesterday. It was a special one that I wanted to do separately because a little bit of history there with owning the original Pterosaur and a Christmas of 1997, which I double checked. There's some footage and photos kicking around back at my parents' house of that Christmas where I opened it up and got that Pterosaur figure. I'm going to try to find it one day and try to post that stuff because all those old photos of those moments are so special, even to fans that didn't live it. It's great stuff. Anyways, check out that segment. I posted it yesterday. I go deep into what that Pterosaur is and what's happening with it. Buzzworthy Legacy one. But it's coming, and it's part of it too. And the last one we have here from the Target stuff is a Buzzworthy Legacy Accessory Pack Red Cog. Now, Blue Cog, which we got, or just Cog as he was called, that we got in Siege, was a companion piece for your Fortress Maximus. In the original 1987 Fortress Maximus, he had a extra unit that came with him that was Cog. Of course, this is what our weaponizers were in the Siege line, and that was Cogged. They used that mold sparingly, using it to make a Power Dasher, and that was about it. They didn't really have a lot of traction with that mold. It was used as a crazy army builder for the CG models in the background of the Siege TV series, and that was really it for the character of Cog and that mold. But there is a lot to be done with it, because if you look at the 1988 Grand Maximus release, Fortress Maximus's repaint brother, there is a red Cog included with the Grand Maximus version. So considering that we have a Titan Grand Maximus, at least from the Takara Tomy side of thing, where's our red Cog to go with it? Well, it looks like it's finally going to be here, and it's going to be present in an accessory pack. Now, of course, for people that are wondering about the character, it was a red repaint of Cog that came with Grand Maximus. It didn't really have much character development. It was kind of omitted from the Master Force show. It is something that was present with the original toy and then was retconned into Cog. They called it Cog with the original Grand Maximus toy just because they were just like, yeah, sure, whatever. He wasn't going to be in the show. They weren't going to stress themselves on if it's the same character or not. But there's been, retcons and trying to give different names and everything. It's all kind of wishy-washy in a lot of ways, but it's a red Cog. That's all you really need to know. But it's supposedly going to be part of an accessory pack, so that we're not talking just a deluxe class price point here. It's probably going to be a deluxe class with a whole bunch of accessories on the side included, and that'll pump up the price point, maybe put it to a Voyager, kind of like Hot Rod in a lot of ways, where Hot Rod's really a deluxe, but he has so many little extra bells and whistles and pieces that it bumps it to a Voyager. So it might be a Voyager price point with that deluxe figure in red. The rumors that I heard online from different people that were talking to me is that it's going to come with a bunch of accessories that kind of came with the Commander class Jetfire, and some newer accessories that might even be compatible with that Commander class Jetfire, aka the recent Shattered Glass Jetfire too. So that's what I've heard, but I mean, nothing's confirmed with that. All we know, it's a red Cog, and just if you wanted that, hey, you got another one that you could add to your collection. And now we jump into the one singular Walgreens listing. We talked about this very briefly in the past, but I want to kind of go over it again because, information has changed since we covered it originally. And it's that of a Walgreens exclusive Transformers Legacy Deluxe Class Minerva. Now, what's fascinating about this is Minerva has always been one of those characters that She either has her original toy, which is worth a stupid amount of money and always yellows. You have a whole bunch of non-transformable Minerva stuff that's all just the human form, PVCs, Kotobukiya stuff, which is all great and fine and dandy too. Wonderfest exclusive model kits, but it's all expensive. It all isn't a representation of the robot transforming character. And then you have like homage color schemes, and even those were difficult to get, whether it be a Botcon exclusive of an animated Minerva or like a Minerva colored Thunderblast Chromia from Galaxy Force DVD exclusive. This character, if you wanted to own any iteration of it, was always expensive. Even in the weird stuff, there was a Dairy Con exclusive Spy Changer Minerva that was like 1 of 50 made. You know, like, it's always difficult with this character. And now, finally, it looks like we're finally going to be getting a retail version of Minerva in the Western world. And, I mean, yeah, sure, it's going to be a Walgreens exclusive, but Walgreens gets 16 per case of their deluxes, and as long as it isn't scalped like crazy, everyone will get a chance to pick her up. But the thing that's important to me is that at least it's going to be a chance for people to get this character cheap instead of it being $1,000, $2,000, or some crazy 3-digit number. Now, the question is, what is she going to be? She's obviously going to be some kind of repaint of something previously existing, like all the past Walgreens exclusives. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of retooling, but it's still going to be based on something and be a partial from something else. And when this news originally broke, we didn't know much about Transformers Legacy at the time. I saw these early listings. We didn't know the Legacy lineup for 2022. And I was kind of looking at what we had at our disposal at that time and was going, oh, well, you know, there's that Wrecker, you know, Circuit comic book, and Minerva's in that. And if you kind of look at her design, you know, she kind of looks like Power of the Prime's Punch Counter Punch, which was then re-released recently in the Earthrise Amazon Galactic Odyssey collection. So if you kind of like transform that Punch Counter Punch in a certain way, and if you retooled it a little bit, you could kind of get Minerva out of that. That's what I thought back then. But then we learned, of course, of the Transformers Legacy line and what was going to be available in it, and more specifically, the Deluxe Class Elita 1 that was going to be in it. Now, the question is whatever is that Elita 1 might help us get a better idea, because Elita 1, you know, her animation model of her alt mode is kind of, you know, we never really got a full shot of it. We've had fans that kind of complete the design, and we've seen different art books that kind of give an interpretation. But it doesn't look 100% like what Minerva's design is, at least her Porsche 911 Carrera late 80s design that's very sleek. So unless they really first of all, number one, if that Elita 1 is extremely Sunbow, you know, accurate to the animation model Generation 1 and looks fantastic, which I hope it will be. I hope it's a brand new mold and it's not just a repaint, retread of the Netflix one that we got, which is just the RC mold. That would be fantastic. But then to take that and turn it into Minerva, they'd have to do a lot of retooling to make that happen. It's probably what is going to happen. It's probably what the rumors are, but it would have to be a lot of work. And it's sad because when you think about Minerva and her design and how she's a Porsche, you can't just go to Jazz, because Jazz was a completely different kind of Porsche. The Studio Series 86 one, it's a Le Mans GT Porsche. You can't turn that into Minerva. And then when you look at some other stuff that Legacy has, it's like, oh, Legacy also has Dead End, and Dead End was a Porsche, right? Yeah, but Dead End was the early 80s flat light Porsches, and he's going to be a combiner piece, so there might be some kind of weird, you know, stuff caked in there that also will affect the final silhouette of the character. And not to mention, he's a Scramble City design, which is different than Minerva's transformation. So even if they heavily retool Dead End, I don't think that would be a good Minerva. Maybe I'm missing something, but it really looks at the end of the day that whatever that Legacy Elita 1 is going to be, it's probably going to also be that Minerva. I'm just happy that Minerva's getting a retail character. And that means that they're willing to dedicate themselves to that trademark, which means that we might even get more Minervas in the future after this one. It might take another 4 years, but it means that at least that is on the table. Who knows? Maybe even a Transformers RED Minerva that's very extremely animation model accurate to Masterforce. Who knows? I mean, that's a pipe dream. But that's it for the Target and Walgreens exclusives. We still have other exclusives for other store exclusives for 2022 we have to talk about. But again, I'm going to break these down into separate segments so they're more chewable for everyone. Hope everyone's having a great time. Take care of yourselves. If you're Canadian, go have fun at Boxing Day, I guess. And we'll be talking again real soon because we have the top 5 Transformers of 2021 coming up in the next couple of days with me and Jaws D. So be sure to check that out too.